The way you just like dropped that controller, like that was so good. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Big Pop Theory podcast, the YouTube version. The Big Pop Theory podcast is a audio podcast, but this weekend is Money in the Bank. They're in my home country of Toronto, Canada. Oh, someone. Oh, okay. Let's bring him in. Look how excited he is. We have a fourth here. Let me bring him in here. Sir, how are you? You might have to turn the camera this way, young man. There we go. There we go. There's a young man. Well, I don't know why it's like. I think you got to switch something there. I don't. Yeah, because he turned it. I don't know. Okay, there we go. We got the young. First of all, can we hear you speak to the mic, young man?
Hello, everybody.
There we go. See, I like that. See, that's my nephew. Let me do this again. You're watching the Big Pop 30 podcast. This is the YouTube version. I'm joined by these three gentlemen. I'm joined by the was it the Usiest Haitian Jean Baptiste? I'm with the smartest guy in the room, Rich Kings, and I got the young man himself, Saya. I like that. We had to find a name for you, but you found one. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Living a good life. Well, happy 4th of July to everybody. You know, we got the barbecues and the fireworks. If they would just keep it down just for a little bit until we get the show over, I'll be great, man.
Rich Kings, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. How you guys doing?
I'm all right. We got Saya. Saya, this is your first time on here. I'm very excited to hear what your predictions are, but how are you, young man?
I'm great. Happy to be here. Ready to talk some wrestling.
He's ready to talk some wrestling. Let me ask you guys. We got 5 matches here. I was when you came in, I didn't get an opportunity to finish my thought here, nephew. But I was sitting there talking about they're in my home country of Canada, Toronto, Canada. I'm very happy that WWE can go to my place, my hometown. But what match are you guys most excited for?
The match that says that you can get your passport to actually go back to your home country. Like what? Excuse me? You even own a passport?
I do actually. I had to renew it then. What about you, Rich Kings? What match are you looking forward to?
Looking forward towards the Money in the Bank female version.
Okay.
Looking forward to that match.
Sire, what match are you looking forward to, sir?
I'm looking forward to the World Heavyweight title match with Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins is your guy.
Yeah, it's my guy.
That's your goat, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, you know what? Why don't we open up with that? We got 5 matches here. I would have visuals, but apologies here. We don't have visuals today. Instead, we're just going to talk about these matches. And, okay, we got George in the chat, the Sweaterverse here. He says Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So that's the match that he's looking forward to. Let's highlight some of these things. He says there's 2 storylines. Bailey and Naomi and Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. One of them is going to win Women's Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about it, George. Thank you for joining us. So it was the first one here. This Saturday's Money in the Bank is going to be, in my opinion, predictable. Oh, okay. And we got Jeffrey. What up, fellas? What is going on, Jeffrey Reimers? He's a great guy. He'd be on Twitter, so anytime there's some JC Jane slander, he comes my way because I don't allow that. Guys, you guys are JC Jane fans, correct?
No.
Wow. Wow. Rich Kings, clean this up, please.
No comment.
I'm very disappointed. That's the show. Okay, so why don't we open up with we got 2 Money in the Bank matches, right? So let me get the card here. I want to make sure I have everyone's name here, so forgive me. So, just don't even have the freaking names. That's great. So we have the women's ladder match. We have Tiffany Stratton. We have Naomi. We have Zoe Starks, who advanced this past week. Lara Valkyria, and there's 2 more names that I'm missing here because I just do not have everything on me here. Who would the 2? Matter of fact, I have a picture.
One of them is from Damage Control. I believe it's
Io Sky. You're right.
Io Sky.
Forgive me here.
I don't think it's Nia Jax. Who's
no, it's not.
It's a lot of fresh faces. It's Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky, Laura Valkyria, Zoe Stark.
Oh, Chelsea Green. That's the name I'm missing. Thank you, George. Chelsea Green. There we go. I had to look for it. Thank you for that, George. I agree with what you said there, Gene Baptiste. We have a lot of fresh faces in there, and I think that's the fun thing about this. I want to say both Money in the Bank matches. Why don't we start with the youngest guy in the room first and see what he thinks about it? So I'll start. I think. No, I'm joking. Sire, who do you have for this women's Money in the Bank match?
I feel like they're gonna give it to Chelsea Green. I feel like it makes the most sense for her to get that briefcase. I feel like it's gonna, raise her. She's been booked poorly. She's a loser. And so her getting that Money in the Bank is gonna elevate her, and it's gonna be a big deal. I feel like it makes the most sense for her to get it. I will put it on Tiffany, but I feel like soon I'll let her, develop a little bit more, and then, as the years goes on, maybe next year she'll win the briefcase. But I would give it to Chelsea Green.
Okay, you got Chelsea Green. Rich Kings, who do you got for this match?
No, I'm not mad at the Chelsea Green thing. Like, even though we forgot about her for a little bit, I think it should be very comical as the with the Money in the Bank briefcase. But I'm gonna go with Naomi for this one. I don't think, like I said before, I don't think that she really came back to do all this losing and to be this baby face tour and all this other stuff. So I do think she came back to, do some business. So I do think that she's actually gonna win this. I do think that my second person wins will be Chelsea Green. So I kind of agree with Cy there. But I hear the Tiffany Stratton favorites, and everybody's saying it's predictable that she's going to win. But I'm going to just go the other way and say it's Naomi. I just don't see Tiffany Stratton winning this one. But it's going to be the match I'm looking forward to the most. Great athletes. Should be some great action. And Naomi should be winning this.
Okay. Jean Baptiste. What do you got, sir?
I think I would have to agree with Saya. I would say Chelsea Green. That's literally one of the most unpredictable picks, and her with the Money in the Bank briefcase will be nonstop unpredictable throughout the entire year she has it. I don't think she's been booked poorly. I think she's been a comical Karen. I love that character that they're going with. As much as everyone thinks it's Tiffany Stratton, because she does have a rocket strapped to her back and being shot to the stratosphere, I think more of Chelsea Green. That's the more unpredictable pick and the more hilarious pick. I actually do want to see Chelsea Green win that.
It's amazing that all you guys said Chelsea Green, because I don't see that. I don't see that at all. But I mean, you guys saying that, there's another piece there too. If I can throw us out there, Chelsea is from Canada. She's a Canadian, like me. So it would be cool if she went in her hometown. I don't see that. I do see Tiffany Stratton going over. I think that there's. So here's my thought process. You said it yourself, Jean Baptiste. They're putting the rocket strap on her back. I also think that there's this interesting dynamic there with her and Nia Jax, right? They're kind of buddying up. I think that's a pretty cool pairing between the two. And there's something in my mind that goes like, yeah, they're cool, but then she kind of teased Nia like, I can cash in on you. So I'm gonna go with Tiffany Stratton, even though it seems like the predictable thing. But I think you guys said something really interesting by throwing out Chelsea, because I didn't even think Chelsea at all. But I do sit here and say I believe Chelsea is going to be the star of that match because, like Rich Kings mentioned, she's comical. She's great. Some of the spots, the Royal Rumble, she got squashed by Nia Jax and Piper Nivens, and I thought she sold that like hell. I thought that was fantastic. I want to highlight in the comments here. So Jeffrey says in the comments, Chelsea could be a fun choice, low key. He also says that there's no wrong answer there. We all win if Naomi, Tiffany, and Chelsea, if neither one of them. We got George. He says Chelsea Green is not women's championship material. Well, she can win Money in the Bank, but it doesn't mean she has to win the championship. I mean, you still can lose. Like you could win it and.
I disagree.
George, I hear you. This women's material stuff.
Because Chelsea Green, you say she's not championship material. I think she's absolutely championship material. Like she's that one cowardly champion cowardly heel champion who deserves a comeuppance, but never gets it. Always manages to slip by and just keeps her title by the skin of her teeth. No, that is perfect for Chelsea Green and championship material. She doesn't have to be that tough badass. Who said that being a champion has to be tough badass? I think everybody's starting to get in their mind since you have champions like Gunther and Rhea Ripley. You got to be this unstoppable, monstrous badass. No, because let's not forget the cowardly heels are some of the most well-played, most well-character developed type champions you can have. And I don't even you a cowardly heel that just never gets their comeuppance. That's great showing right there. That's great TV.
Jeffrey, what's in your cup? What cowardly champion have we had?
How long? It's been a while since we actually had a cowardly champion.
I think JBL was a coward. You talking about a coward champion? Is that the question?
Yeah, but like, sorry, so this is my thing. The reason why I just think that she's could potentially win because to throw a curveball, right? And they don't want it to be too predictable. But I don't think she's deserving of it. Don't get me wrong. That's why I said Naomi. And honestly, I do think if after Naomi, I would probably put Lyra, if anything. I wouldn't honestly think that she deserves to win it. Do you even know her finishing move? Like, how does she pin people?
Who's finisher?
What does she do?
Who?
Chelsea.
Oh, it's an prettier.
Does it work?
Yes. One of the women's tag team champions. I think she pinned Liv Morgan with that move.
Does it work?
But I do want to highlight this because I did actually forget this here. Jeffrey mentioned people forget that she was the TNA Knockout World Champion, the Knockout Champion in TNA as Laura Von Ness. I forgot about that. He also was mentioned. I think this was your point there, Gene, when he said, "Yeah, but George, she can be serious, and she's a veteran." Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. It was something different. I thought it was something similar. George disagrees with all of this, and he also says they're teasing Naomi and Bayley. All right, so you got our thoughts here for the women's Money in the Bank here. It's going to be interesting on Saturday to see who goes over. Let me go to the next match here. We're going to save the men's one for later, but let's talk about this one. The WWE.
No, let's do the men's first because if anything, the men's.
I want to say that for the main event.
The men's plays a big role for the world championship, if anything, especially with a prediction. So why would you skip that?
I want to save that though. I want to save that. I understand, but I want to save that. I have it how I want to structure it. But I want to get to the Intercontinental match. Thank you, sir. I want to get to the Intercontinental match. We have Sami Zayn going against Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker for the last few weeks has been killing everybody. He killed some, I forget this guy's name, but he was on NXT. He killed him. Sent Ricochet flying with the package being all elite. He's beating that's my little joke there. Joke. He's been killing people. I on the audio podcast, I thought that they were going to go for a fatal four-way actually in this. I thought it was going to be Braun, Sheamus, Ludwig, and Sami because they kind of were all like intertwined for the last 2 weeks. But I think Ludwig is actually hurt. I'm hearing something about ribs. I can't confirm that, but I heard on Monday because I missed a little bit of Monday. He was he's hurt. Some of his ribs.
Isn't he in the Money in the Bank?
Who, Ludwig?
Yeah.
No.
Could have sworn he was in that.
No, he's not in it. So we got Bron Breakker against Sami Zayn. I like Bron Breakker. I think as a heel, he's been killing it. I see Jeffrey in the chat. He's saying Bron Breakker is definitely winning the IC championship. I don't see that actually. I don't.
Really?
No, I don't. I don't personally. I just don't think.
I gotta hear this. Why? I want to understand this. Let me hear your thoughts on this.
I feel like you're judging me there. You got your nice black shirt on.
I want to hear this one. Now, this is intriguing. I'm shocked. Okay. I want to hear this one.
Okay, so for me, I just don't think you pull the trigger on Bron Breakker right now. I just don't think. I mean, he's hot right now, and I understand a lot of times people go like, "He's hot, let's do it," but no. And I just, in my mind, I just don't see him being the one to take it off Sami. If you're asking, who do you see? Like, bro, let me get there. Let me see the next challenger, but I just don't see him being the one. I just think Sami goes over. I think Sami, and also too, I mean, I maybe this is a thing here, but it's in Canada. I think he gets the strength of Canada and he just beat Bron Breakker. So I just don't see Bron being the guy. Not right now. Just not right now. I'll give you the floor since because I see that you think Bron is going to, but please take the floor, sir. What makes you think Bron? What makes you give it to Bron?
In all honesty, don't get me wrong. We all love Sami and his little baby face thing, but the title needs to come off. And if there's any time to take that title off of him, it'd be now. And Bron Breakker has been wrecking it from NXT even to the main roster. It's not like he got lost in the shuffle. They've been setting him up, and if anything, that was the greatest time. You say Bron shouldn't be the one to take it off Sami. I now kind of want to pick your brain a bit. Who do you feel? If you was to pick one person on that roster,
I still feel like it should have been Chad Gable. If you're acting, I still feel like
I would agree with you 100%. But we know he's not in the picture no more. They finally just all right.
I thought it should have been Chad Gable before they shot him in the head.
Oh my God.
I don't know. They wanted to punish him.
Say you get one more pick. Who would you pick if not Bron and Chad's out the way? Who do you pick to take him down? Take down the Intercontinental.
Moving to Guerrero.
Jey Uso.
Okay. Young man, take the. Okay, all right, young man.
Take the floor. I want to hear this one too. That's a great pick.
Jey Uso, I'll give him second spot as being babyface. He's been killing it. And if you really want to elevate Jey Uso, make him a big deal. I feel like if you're trying to put a single title on him, it would be the IC title. He's not. Bro,
go ahead. No, please go ahead.
If you really look at it, Jey Uso is not world championship material. He's not beating Cody. He's not beating. I'm assuming Gunther's going to be champion by the end of all this. He's not beating Gunther, and I feel like it would make most sense if he beats Sami. The story's there. It makes sense.
Okay. All right. No, I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing at because you know why I'm laughing, right, Jean Baptiste? Because he, Sai, he thought hey, look, he liked you. Give us the wave. Give us the wave. Give us the wave, G. And he's not beating Cody Rhodes either.
Yeah.
No. We know that. That's not happening. No.
Okay.
That's not happening.
But I want to give
for the Rock.
I do want to give you the floor, Rich King, because I did have a question in regards to all this, but please take the floor about this IC title match. Real quick, our guy here, Crazy Joe, he's saying, "What's up? What's going on, Crazy Joe?"
Crazy Joe.
Yeah, we're gonna get to you guys too, Jeffrey and George. We want to say thank you guys for joining us live here. Apologize for the late being here, but we're glad that you're here. But Rich King, please take the floor. Look, Rich King is ready too. You said the twitch of the neck, like, yeah, it's my time. Go ahead, Rich King. What do you got?
This doesn't happen too often, but me and Baptiste are in total agreement here. I do think
Wow.
Bron Breakker is going to win this match, and not only do I think he's going to win, I think he's more like. I would say this: WWE is trying to come up with this new era, like I said before, right? Mm-hmm. And I do think a lot of the times when people come from when people come up from NXT, it is not like they almost get lost on the card. It's like they don't win matches, they don't consistently win matches, they don't win belts. And I think to stop that trend and to keep the people looking fresh and good, you give Bron Breakker this championship. Now, I do agree with Sai that Uso, that's the title he should go with to keep building himself up, because when I think about people at Edge and others that were like tag teams that came up to like the top, there was almost a ladder. You just don't skip to the top of the ladder unless you're like almost Roman Reigns, but even he had to stop. Even he had to do little things. And Brock Lesnar, right? So unless you're that big figure, you go through the ranks, right? So I do think eventually Jey Uso is going to have to win either the U.S. or Intercontinental Championship. But right now, Bron Breakker, I do think that you put that belt around him. Like, I don't think a lot of people are moved by Sami Zayn's championship era run he's going right now, and I don't think it's his fault. He's doing a solid job. And I was in the minority of people that wanted him to beat Chad Gable, because I hate predictability, and I love the heel thing. Like, I love when people are disappointed. So I do think that Bron Breakker should win this match. I do think that the momentum and how he left NXT and what he's doing right here on Raw, it doesn't make any sense for him to lose. So if he were to lose this, what was all this for?
Right. And that's the thing though for me. Like, that's why I thought a Fatal 4 would have been better, because he could have showcased what he can do and not eat a pin. I wouldn't even want Bron to take a pin right away. But they went this route, and And I'm in agreement with you guys. I saw I forget who it was between Jeffrey or George, but one of them said that it's time for Sami to drop the title, and I agree. I 100% agree. But I did want to ask this because
real quick, you know what I'll equate this to? Remember when the women's came up, like the Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte all came up in that women's revolution? They're like, the rest of you people just have a seat, right? let these people cook. So right now, I would equate that to, listen, Sami Zayn have a seat. Thank you for all your work and all your leadership. Let's now put on somebody else and let this new revolution come through.
Okay, all right. I did want to ask this question because when he Saya, he mentioned Jey Uso being Intercontinental US champion, right, young man? And I did want to ask because I feel like we all know that Jey Uso is going to be in this Bloodline feud, right? Like that's going to happen. So I asked you guys this real quick here. Do you see him winning single gold before going into that feud?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. Which is why they might have Sami, because for all we know, they might have Sami drop it and join the original Bloodline, because technically speaking, he was one of the original members of the Bloodline. Because let's say, for instance, we don't get Rock because Rock's got this busy Hollywood schedule and we're getting live.
Oh yeah, no, we got to see. Yeah, he got to go make another Fast movie. You're right, he's busy.
So with that being said, if you need somebody else to fill in that fourth role, I can't see anybody else other than Sami Zayn to fill in that role because, again, that was your original Bloodline member.
Honestly,
one of the more exciting members too.
Honestly, I when Rock eventually does come back into all this, I had him already on the opposite side of the, Roman and the Usos. I just had him on the other opposite side. I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't want to spend too much time here. I want to get into some of the other matches here. I don't know if you guys saw the documentary of Behind the Curtain for WrestleMania. It was damn good, honestly. Like, it was really, really, really well done. I'm going to save some thoughts for that because I'm going to save it for the audio podcast, but I just wanted to say it's damn good. If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. It's, I believe, like it's an hour run time, but it's really, really done.
And very surprising details I got out of that. I was very shocked at some of the details I found out in that one.
Matter of fact, it made me go that that build for WrestleMania, the build for this year's WrestleMania, was actually a lot of fun. And I think I realized it at the time, but like when you kind of watch it in retrospect, you kind of like, wow, it really was a fun build. But I want to save thoughts for that. I just wanted to sit here and say, mention that. Let's get into the next match. I know you wanted to get into the Money in the Bank, but I do want to get into this match here. Matter of fact, we will get into this. Let's talk about this match. We have a World Heavyweight. Speaking of, because one of the guys who was in that document, and I see you in the chat, Jeffrey. I 100%. It was so good, very, very good. Matter of fact, I would sit here and say there's a lot of people you could call the MVP there. I think you could call The Rock the MVP for reasons in that document. Roman, Cody, but this guy was really, really the MVP there. Seth Rollins. I didn't realize, and one of the things I knew his leg was, he had some kind of leg injury. But not realizing that he was doing this match with a brace, because I never saw him wear the brace. I guess he had like the tights over the brace. Yeah. I didn't realize it until I saw the brace, and I was like, "Wow, this guy is really out there." I'm not gonna lie, stretching me the hell out. I am not. So he's tough as nails. So shout out to one Seth Rollins, your goat there, Sire. Me and Sire sometimes we talk and we do the who's better, him or AJ, and we're both on opposite sides of things. But Seth Rollins is a GOAT, no doubt. But let's talk about him. Seth freaking Rollins, he's back. I gotta say, he came back 3 weeks ago. I didn't expect him to come back so soon. And he got himself a World Heavyweight Championship match. And he's going against. How did you do that? Like, that was amazing. You did that and then the lights came on. That was fantastic. But Seth freaking Rollins, he's gonna go against Damian Preist. It's for the World Heavyweight Championship. And we have two stipulations here. If Seth Rollins loses, he can no longer go for the championship as long as Damian Preist is champ. And if Damian Preist loses, he's out of Judgment Day. I just want to put a little backstory here. Damian, and I took this on the audio podcast, Damian gets a lot of flack, right? But last week when he goes, the Judgment Day needs me more than I need them. I was like, Damian, and I'm sitting there going, and I know we had a conversation, Gene. I think it was just yesterday we had a conversation about this. But I just wanted to say, he said this, so he's supposed to come over as the babyface, right? Anytime like the Judgment Day do a little too much, he's like, "Yo, chill, come on now." The guy lost. Like when Jey Uso got dominated at Backlash, he said stop it and all that stuff. But he came off like a jerk in that promo. And when Finn Balor got in his face and said like, we didn't appreciate that and all that stuff, I was like, yeah, you should say something about this. This past Monday, Damian and Seth had back and forth. Finn got involved in it. Finn, of course, got dominated as per usual, got laid out, and what's this guy's name? Priest lays out Seth Rollins. So let me give my thoughts here, and I'll give the floor to Rich Kings and Saya, and I'll give you the floor last, Baptiste. I'm going to be honest. I think we get a new World Heavyweight Champion. I think Seth Rollins goes over. I think somehow, some way, the Judgment Day costs Damian because no one listens to Damian. Dominant. JD don't listen. JD don't listen to
But and who's JD? Like, what's a JD McDonough at this point? Like, you're the guy who's there for the mat. Like, get lost. I don't even respect JD. Liv just got there and she's above JD. Carlito
I
just got there and he's above JD.
I honestly said this. I was telling Sawyer that. Not for nothing, the Judgment Day, they always had strong leading women because Rhea was the strong leading woman, and not for nothing, Liv, you're right, she just got there, and she, she's really coming up with the plans. Look, Finn and JD, tag team champions. Unfortunately, Dominic is getting wrecked by his father, but I do sit here and say, what's the missing ingredient? I'll tell you what it is. Moving to Guerrero, but I stopped right there. But yeah, I got Seth Rollins going over. I look at Damian, they're going to kick him out. There's so much stuff here to piggyback on and why I see Damian losing. Damian has been getting on all the Judgment Day's nerve. Dom just past Monday said, "You sound like my dad." Finn rolled his eyes at him. The only person who kind of like him is Kalisto because Kalisto picked him in 2K24. And I thought that was hilarious.
You know what the difference between Damian and all the rest of those Judgment Day members is? Damian hasn't lost in a while. All those guys, all they know how to do is lose. Hell, if it wasn't for Liv Morgan, Finn Balor would just be a loser, a championless loser, and that's it. So of course they're gonna have their way. Oh, Damian changed. Of course he changed. He wins matches. He's a world champ. Finn loser. You just got yourself a tag team title with JD McLoser over there as well. Get lost. Dom, like, come on, man. Who cares? So yeah, if y'all mad at Mr. Senor El Campeon, fine by me. If y'all want to kick him out, good, because guess what? He's better off without him.
What is that in your hand? Yeah, okay. Sire, please take the floor. What do you got for this World Heavyweight Championship match, young man?
All right, so I think they're going with Priest to retain. I feel like it doesn't really make sense for Seth to win because, what storyline are you going to do after? Like, I know the match with Seth and Gunther will be way bigger than Priest and Gunther, but I feel like if you have Priest go over, it establishes him way more. I feel like if he retains here, they got, more time, to elaborate on that story between him and the Judgment Day. Because I feel like if he gets kicked out now, then what? I feel like they should, keep building and more time. But I feel like Priest is going over. I feel like it's the right move for him to go over. I don't think Seth should win. We just finished watching Seth Rollins, he had a title reign, and it doesn't make sense for him to be a transitional champion. I feel like so. I have Priest.
All right, okay. Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut off. Rich Cam, would you take the floor? But can I give my nephew a round of applause? Do you see out the intelligence of this young man? Young man, smart wrestling fan. Shout out to you, young man. You got the job. You are definitely above Jean Baptiste. So now you have to listen. Sire, Baptiste, you have to listen to one Sire when he says stuff. Oh, okay. Now, oh, wow. Yeah, right on air. Yeah, good job. Yeah, okay. Wow. Mm-hmm. Right in front of the young man. Good job. Rich Kings, please take the floor. What do you got for this match?
I totally agree with Side there. I don't see why
Seth should agree with me. Am I not making good points?
No, the reason why I don't think Seth should win because it's almost like how Becky Lynch came in, won a belt, and then what is that? So if you're trying to really build like Damian Priest, right? The time for him he should have lost was probably last pay-per-view against Drew McIntyre, and it didn't happen then. So it shouldn't happen now because Seth decides to show back up. And just because you show back up doesn't mean you get to have the belt. You got your rematch, take a pin, and let's move on. Now, I do think they have to build up Damian Priest somehow against Gunther because, listen, like you can't keep calling him like, this lackluster champion and he doesn't have some kind of run. So he has to beat some names. And Seth Rollins is a name to beat. It's a name to add to just the list. So I do think that he wins. I do think this sets him up better for him and Gunther, and hopefully match between him and Gunther at the next SummerSlam. I believe it's the next pay-per-view, right? So yes. I do think that I think Gunther's going to win. And regardless of it's Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, me, you, we're losing to Gunther. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you put there.
No, you forgot. You. I mean, if you're going to throw us all in there, make sure you include Jeffrey and George. I mean, we're all losing to Gunther, right? At the end of the day,
it's Gunther's a 5-on-1.
He's a world beater.
And he'll be like,
and all of us are going to submit. That's the sad part. 5-on-1, and we all submit.
It's the funniest thing. I feel like I had this conversation with you, Baptiste, but like I said, Gunther really don't have a finisher. He just beats you.
Yeah, he just gets pissed off and goes on a rampage.
Sorry, because you got 2K24, right? Sorry, you got 2K. So you know how they got like 6 finishers? That's because of Gunther. Because Gunther literally just finds a way to beat you. Like he's either choked you out or he didn't he beat somebody with a single leg crab or something like that.
No, Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, he did. I remember.
Oh
so Dean Malenko unfortunately had the man of 1,000 moves.
Yes,
Gunther is the man of 1,001 moves. So he got it.
No, well, really what it is for Gunther. Gunther's whole motto is "When I'm finished with you."
You will know.
But I did want to touch on this. So I'm sorry, Baptiste, did you get your? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that you got your. Did you get your thoughts in, sir?
I agree. I agree with everybody saying that Damian's gonna go over. I don't see Seth winning that. But I do see a failed cash-in attempt by Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
I do see him winning the Money in the Bank and trying to cash in, and CM Punk showing up to thwart that cash-in completely. As far as Damian Priest, in the Judgment Day, I have to agree with Rich Kings. He brought up a great point. You got to build that up. You got to build up Damian Priest to have some credible wins, especially if we want to stop calling him a lackluster champion. And to beat a guy like Seth Rollins, the GOAT himself, one of the few GOATs we got, yeah, I'd say Damian Priest has to go over. Besides, Judgment Day turning on Damian Priest and costing him at SummerSlam with Gunther, at least you have a reason Priest lost to Gunther. Like, you don't have to have Gunther completely destroy and utterly dominate poor Damian Priest.
I almost feel like he should, because that's to me, I feel like that's Gunther's thing. Gunther really, how often, let me ask you gentlemen this, right? I think I had a few questions, but let me ask you this. How often did Gunther have help beating somebody? How often? What is the percentage?
I don't think I've ever seen him needing help from anybody. No, like every match he's done, it's been one-on-one, and he's dominated himself.
Record, period. Like, there's no, from NXT UK to this, what is his record? What help?
I think
people come to him, let me help you. He's like, no, just stand here. So like,
watch the teacher and watch the teacher, right?
Yes. So no, but this is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Sure.
I know you have another point, but this is real quick.
No, but please take the floor.
How many goats are on this farm? Now I'm hearing 3 of you guys say Seth Rollins a goat. A goat of what?
Wait, you don't think Seth is a goat?
How many goats are on the farm?
I don't know. I don't own a farm.
But how many goats
on this farm? Not many. There's really not many.
So let me. I want to dig. I want to dig a little bit. So you're asking like, why is Seth a goat? Is that like the question?
Yeah. Why would you consider him a goat? I'm curious.
Same champion.
Are we talking credentials? Just credentials, or overall everything? Because we definitely are going to put in the fact that he is a Grand Slam champion off rip.
2-time.
That's all.
So he's 2-time.
He's a 2-time Grand Slam champion.
Okay.
Wait, so is Kurt Angle a goat?
The best Money in the Bank.
Kurt Angle's definitely a goat. What? Hell yeah.
No,
I feel like I get what Rich King's point is, because do you feel like that term get just tossed around?
Yes. If to say he's a Hall of Famer, agreed. Don't mean greatest of all time. He's not even the greatest in his own era. What are we talking about?
Yikes.
Well, it's kind of you know. I mean, look, I think
if you're taking the draft in this era, you choosing Roman or Seth? Let's be honest.
Roman.
First overall pick. Who you taking? You're not.
Some people are going to pick Seth over. Some people are going to pick Seth over Roman. I would pick Seth over Roman. But I would pick Roman. I get your point. You know, I see what George is saying because you're saying what makes him a GOAT. And he is a workhorse. I mean, his work ethic is just amazing. I think even that performance alone at WrestleMania
isn't a GOAT. Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. No, you're absolutely right. A horse and a goat are two different animals. 100%. Got what you're saying. You know, and I like that smile because you know he likes to create. My man's over here like to create chaos. But
he does.
I would even ask for Josiah because I mean he's a little bit younger than us. I think in our era we had different goats, right? Like, so for you, right, Saya, you would say he's your goat, right?
That is my goat. Think about it.
Sure.
We could do credentials or we could just do all around. Best Money in the Bank catching of all time. He's a 2-time Grand Slam champion. Only him and Miz is the only people in WWE history to do that.
Ooh.
In ring.
I forgot about that too.
You can't say he's not good in ring. He could practically do anything in the ring. There's like you can't really say nothing about Seth Rollins for real. What is there bad to say about him?
No, I'm not saying there's anything bad to say about him. But what I'm saying is, based on what my eyes are telling me, what the match is, and like if you are a GOAT, right? You have the main event of WrestleMania, and that was something that was a dig. Like you didn't even main event WrestleMania, your wife did, not you, right? That was a dig that he got. You have to be able. I get that he's a great wrestler and everything like that, but when I think about the totality of a GOAT, the promo, the long, like even like I guess the matches, winning all these championships is one thing, but when I see what's going on in this era right now, I just will choose one person over the other one. Maybe he's a lowercase GOAT, lowercase G, but there's a uppercase G. But that's all I'm saying. But I get what you're saying. But you also say he's a 2-time double Grand Slam champion, and he's with The Miz. Give it a break.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. But come on, like, do you think? Let me ask this question, Josiah. Do you think Roman Reigns will ever go for IC or a USA Championship ever?
He did though.
He did. Now, yeah. Like again, now probably not. But then again. If we're gonna put that in
I don't.
Let me add this to this perspective. If we're gonna go there, all right, yes, Roman will never challenge for an IC belt. You say Roman better over Seth Rollins, I would disagree because everything Roman is now finally able to achieve on his own, being able to talk on his own, being able to cut decent promos on his own, Seth's been able to do that off rip out the gate.
But how much was that him not doing that, and how much was it that the previous person did not want him to do that either?
I think that's a fair point, though. I think that's a fair point because, I mean, the stuff that they were writing for him was awful. And then when they allowed him because he was ready to leave, because he was like, you know, I don't know what the reason was, but he was ready to leave. They said, hey, let's go with this character. And they let him be himself. It worked. So I do believe that he was handicapped in that beginning point. And I think even then, even though you mentioned something, and I mean, I think it's a fair point. You're saying Seth from the beginning, he had all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
Roman got there. Roman got there, and I mean, look at this.
It is not to take anything away from Roman. Roman got there, yes, but the level that Roman's finally achieving, Seth has been on that level years ago.
No, but I feel like Roman's definitely
the level that Roman has achieved over the last 3 years. Steph can touch, but even before he got those 3 years, Roman still accomplished all those things before he became the GOAT. When he beat Undertaker and he was doing all this other bullshit and we didn't even follow that crap, it was like, this is, but we don't follow the character, we don't follow the person. He was still doing everything that Seth Rollins was doing. Yes or no? The last 3 years just took him over the top because of this persona. But when he was Vince McMahon's Roman Reigns, he was doing everything Seth Rollins was doing. There was nothing different. The only thing
there was one big difference. Who had the more memorable moments? Between Seth and Roman, before Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, right out the Shield. Who had more of the memorable moments?
They created that plot twist for him. Did they not?
When you say who did they create the plot? Roman or Seth Rollins?
Huh?
We talking about? You said they created a plot twist for him. We talking Seth Rollins?
Yes.
Seth?
They created that plot twist for Seth Rollins. Yes, for him to stab his people in the back and run away with who was that?
The
Mercury.
Authority? You're talking about the Authority.
Yeah, the Authority, like Kane, all these washed up trash people following him around. Yeah, they made that thing for Seth Rollins. Like, yeah, he would have gone. But what I can say is different characters or different roles, whatever the case may be. But I'm not like at the same time. Roman Reigns is still winning. Roman Reigns is still winning these championships around that same era. I think the last 3 eras just separated them. That's all I'm saying.
You know, and I like this conversation. I don't want to interrupt it because I think it's a really great thing. I mean, I think everyone has some really good points. I think all you gentlemen do have great points. But we got 2 more matches, and it's all good. It's all good. No, you guys, everyone was into it. No, I loved it. I think the chat loved it. I think everyone, because I think so. When you talk about Seth and Roman, and I'll cut it here. You think of like number 1, number 2, like in the era of Hogan and Macho. Some people picked Macho over Hogan. Same thing in the era of Bret, and there were people who picked Macho over. What is that face?
Even I want to know who. Who's picking Macho over Hogan?
There were a lot of there are people. I'm not even like lying. I'm serious. Like there were people like me and Rich Kings, right? Rock and Austin. Thank you for that, George. Right. I think that's a good point. You know, in the era that we kind of grew up with, Sean and Brett. I know like Rich Kings, he's a Sean guy. Awful. But I'm a Bret guy. So I'm just saying you can't go wrong with either. I don't think so. But hold on real quick, because I always got to test my nephew. Oh my God, that sounded terrible. I have to test my nephew. Nephew, who do you pick between Shawn and Bret?
Shawn Michaels, easily.
Let's move on. That's enough out of you, Baptiste. That is enough out of you.
This man is a wrestling genius.
I want everyone to wave to Saya. This is the last time that you guys will be seeing him here. So I hope that you all enjoyed my my nephew.
He is a wrestling savant. In the words of JBL, wrestling god.
What was that, French? Let's get into the men's Money in the Bank. All right. I know you wanted to talk about this earlier, Gene, so I think now is the right time to do it. Okay. So let me make sure I got the participants in here. So we have, oh, this is not it. This is the other guys. How did I not save this picture? All right, fine. Let's go with it. We got Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre,
Jey Uso.
Jey Uso. Who else have we got here? Come on. I'm sorry, because I thought I had these pictures and I don't.
We got Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
LA Knight, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes.
Yes.
We're missing what's that guy's
I feel like we're missing a Raw guy.
We're missing 2 people right here.
I know.
Chad Gable.
Chad Gable, right?
Gable.
Master Gable. Perky.
Oh, okay. I got it right here. And Andrade. I'm so mad that we forgot. It's so we forgot Andrade.
Andrade made it? Oh, shoot.
Yes. I think he replaced Ludwig because Ludwig I felt was in it.
Yeah, Ludwig was in the Money in the Bank.
You know why they can't be? Because Ludwig is a Raw guy. Andrade is a SmackDown guy. So you have 3 SmackDown, 3 Raw. And that would have been 4 Raw and 2 SmackDown guys. Huh?
I honestly thought that he was in it. I thought he won.
I'm trying to figure out when. I mean, if you guys in the chat.
Yeah, he did win a qualifier. He definitely won a qualifier to get in.
Do you remember this? Because I don't. Do you remember this? I'm really
could have sworn he did.
I appreciate George. He said, I wrote the match card in my notebook. Good job, George. He's like the 5th member of our team. And same with you, Jeffrey. You even though you like the chaos here, apparently I think Jeffrey picked Bret over Shawn. So good job, and good job, George. I'm with you, bad guy Jack. Bret Hart all the way. Thank you. I just want to highlight people who are smart. Thank you. Why don't we change the floor here a little bit? Don't shake your head, nephew. You have disobeyed me for the last time. I'm going to start with you, Rich King. Who do you got for this men's Money in the Bank match?
So I do not have the fan favorite. Everybody thinks Drew's going to win. I do not. I think that'll be an awful choice. Actually, he had his chance. It's over. I got Carmelo Hayes winning this match. So go back with my earlier point with the NXT people coming up. Like, you got to build some of these people up some way. One way is to win money in the bank. One way is to win the mid-card titles. And another way is the tag team. I don't see him doing the tag team route. I don't think, like, he has such a big hype in NXT. You want to protect what they're doing down there. And I think the best way to keep that going is to give Carmelo Hayes the money in the bank. Have him walk around with that for at least 6-7 months to keep going. And then finally build something there from that. The other competitors, like, if I were to choose a second person, I mean, I'll have to say Jey Uso, but even though I don't think he's going to win it, but I just don't see Drew winning it. I really keep thinking that I feel the fan favorite, and I think the plot that everybody's thinking about is he wins, CM Punk screws him, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need to see that again for the third or fourth time. We've seen it twice already. We don't need to see it again for a third time. So that's the reason why I don't think it's going to happen with Drew McIntyre. I do think there's going to be a surprise, and I think the surprise will be Carmelo Hayes.
That's interesting. I didn't even, I'll say my thoughts. I'll start with you, Gene Baptiste. Who you got, sir?
The only reason why I think Drew McIntyre is because you look at everybody who's in the Money in the Bank, and we all agree whoever wins this Money in the Bank is not having a successful cash-in. The only person on that list who can recover from a bad cash-in is Drew McIntyre. LA Knight has already lost enough. Same goes with Jey Uso. Carmelo's just coming off NXT. Hasn't really built himself up to be up in the main event card yet. A failed cash-in from him, that's going to slow his momentum or maybe even kill it. Same thing for Andrade. Hasn't really done much since his return.
But fair enough, we did see A-Town down and challenge for a different belt too. So, that can happen too.
Now knowing that can happen, I don't know if Trips wants to insult the fans' intelligence again and lower the value of that contract, Money in the Bank briefcase, by making them challenge for a secondary title. Like, you literally lower the value of that.
I don't think so, but I have thoughts for that. But please finish your thoughts, and I'm going to give it to Saya. But go ahead, finish your thoughts, sir.
But you figure with everybody in that match, the only person who doesn't suffer from a bad cash-in is Drew. And the best way to keep Drew from suffering from a bad cash-in, let Punk screw him once more. Because at the end of the day, all you're really doing is continuing this blood feud and building up to a SummerSlam show or a SummerSlam bout. That's going to be amazing. Like, they've been building this for a while now. Drew and CM Punk's freaking rivalry is one of the hottest rivalries on the road today. One of the, if not the hottest rivalry. They're gonna literally find a way to carry it over. Probably gonna make him cash it in that night, and Punk screws him to get his goddamn bracelet back. Stupid bracelet.
Do you really need that Money in the Bank cash in for a third schooling? Like, no.
We don't, but you guys said it best earlier. As long as Cody holds that belt and Gunther holds that belt, ain't nobody taking that off of him. Cody's reserved for either The Rock or Roman, and Gunther, we might see that belt on him for another 2 years before he decides to give that up.
I think we could always assume it's an unsuccessful cash-in, but we never know what can happen in one of those matches. It could turn into a triple threat match, and somebody else will get pinned. It could do so many different things how Seth Rollins did it before. So I'm not I don't see LA Knight winning, but if I were to see somebody cashing it in sideways like that, it would have to be like some kind of triple threat or fatal four-way match that they cash it in.
What you got, young man? Oh,
Babyfaces can cash it in. Babyfaces can cash in and steal one, and it wouldn't be bad to their character. So it doesn't have to necessarily.
You got examples for that because Punk is one of them. He did that. Punk did that. Brian, absolutely. But young man, who do you got for this men's Money in the Bank?
So I agree with the guy in the black shirt. I'm gonna go with Drew McIntyre. He's the only person that could really recover from a failed cash-in. Doesn't make sense for LA Knight to win. I would put the U.S. title. That's something. So doesn't money.
Why is he like that? Like, why is he like that? The guy in the black shirt, like
I feel like it just makes sense for Drew to to win it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he needs the briefcase to keep that story going with CM Punk, but that's the only winner that makes sense. Andrade's not winning. LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes is way too soon. I like him, but it's too soon. So I feel like it only makes sense for Drew to get it.
Saya, I'm gonna say what's on your hat. Boo boo. Not happening.
He had that in his back pocket for a minute. I think you guys said some great things here. I see a lot of people saying Drew. We got not LA Knight. I'm sorry, Carmelo Hayes. So okay. I don't see Andrade being in there. I think he's going to have a lot of great spots in there. Chad Gable, I'm glad that they did put him in this match because I thought he should have won the Intercontinental Championship. But it's nice to know that they're still doing stuff with him and he's still on TV. I think that's the main thing because there's a lot of times, when you lose matches like back to back like that, they send you like to the shadow realms and you don't see them. LA Knight, I see him having a feud with Logan Paul, and for
Logan.
And also too, because he kind of got beef with Carmelo Hayes. I don't think that's ever been settled. And I see them canceling each other out. So then you have Drew and Jay. So this past Monday, I honestly thought CM Punk was going to screw Drew, but he wasn't. And I got Jey Uso winning. I see him winning. He tries to cash in, and the Bloodline screws him. I see someone because I'm trying to figure out a way on how Jay gets involved. And what was it? Backlash, where we had the two Tongas and Solo, Paul Heyman, and they confronted Jay. I felt like that was Backlash, right? And I felt like that was not subtle. It was like foreshadowing. So I could see him winning. He's red hot right now. The crowd likes him. I think he's personally the best pick. But he doesn't have a successful cash in. And if you're going to cash in, I see Gunther. We all said Gunther's win that World Heavyweight Championship, right? I mean, it's already been shown that Gunther could beat this man one-on-one. What's the best way to try to take off Gunther? Catch him when he's off guard, right? And I can see him trying to do that, and the Bloodline somehow screws him. Because that's what happens with Jay, right? Every time he was close to winning the championship, I forgot who he went against, and Jimmy cost him. I'm not going to lie.
He was at Roman. He cost him twice. So I think to your point, that's close. That's why he's my second pick. But
sure.
I hear it. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if Jay wouldn't, but to me, it doesn't make sense for Drew to win. I hear what everybody's saying.
But and I think this question was already asked, but we all agree that no matter what, it's an unsuccessful cash in.
Yeah, this for the men, it's going to be an unsuccessful cash in no matter what. There's no you're not beating. There's no way you're not beating Gunther. You're not beating Cody. Unless they decide to throw a curveball.
Not one-on-one, but I could see somebody catching somebody lacking.
Okay. I did want to touch on something because Jean-Baptiste, I mean, you were talking about future potential feuds for Cody, and you mentioned, I think you said Solo, right? And you said Roman. I don't see Roman. I can't tell you exactly when, but I feel like down the line they're gonna have that match with The Rock. Like I feel like when I watched that documentary and when Rock said your chapter with Roman is done, but Mama Rose, we're not done yet. I wanted to touch
WrestleMania season. That's next year's WrestleMania. That mark my words, that's happening next year's WrestleMania.
Jeffrey, real quick, he wanted to let us all know Andrade already has a belt that we don't see. Do you know he's the Speed champion? Okay, so let's move on. Okay,
I think it's about Charlotte, but okay.
That's what I thought he meant, but okay.
He has been talking to Greeks. And let's get into. I think the women's open the show, and then the men's Money in the Bank close it. But let's just talk about this match, and then we'll call it a show. Let's talk about the 6-person tag. We have the new Bloodline. They didn't say who's going to be in the match because there's a lot of them now. So you have Solo, you have the two Tongas. And now Jacob Fatu going against Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens.
Jacob may not be able to make it.
Why? Yeah, really?
He has a criminal record, and they may not allow him into Canada.
Oh, so I didn't.
He may not be able to leave the country like that because it happened with Jimmy at the first Clash of the Castle. I think him or Jay, one of them had a criminal record at the time, and they couldn't leave the country. That's why Solo ended up interfering and costing Drew at the first Clash of the Castle.
Okay, so
with Jacob, it's up in the air. He may not be able to go because of his criminal record.
I got right here. George is saying Jacob is not going to be there. But even though he's not, so I don't know, right? But let's say he's not there, right? Either way, the Bloodline is winning. The Bloodline got to win this. I mean, the Bloodline. If you really want to get this Bloodline 2.0 over, a lot of people are already dismissing them. They're calling them the Wish version of the Bloodline. They're calling them pretty much NWO Wolfpack. A lot of people don't have there's not a lot of faith in this group, so you have to steam them up a little bit. And I think it's important for them to get this win because look, what they did to Madison, I was out there in Madison Square Garden, and they put Paul Heyman through that table. And I mean, the New York crowd did not like any of that. But they got to do stuff. They got to do something to make them seem menacing. They got to seem like a threat, especially if you're going to have it. Well, eventually, when you have Bloodline versus Bloodline, you got to make them look like a threat. Even though people are already going to say this, they don't even compare to the OGs of Roman and the Usos. I mean, when you look at that run, it's hard to really compare the two. Roman, he held both the WWE and Universal Championship. The Usos held all the tag team gold, and they held these championships for over like 600 days, like that, right? So
over 2 years, almost 2 years. Look
at that. So it's already hard to already compare that faction. I mean, I saw something today, and it was actually really incredible. There's not too many people who can sit here and say they've been in part of like multiple legendary groups. Roman has the Shield and the Bloodline. And I do have a question for later because it's something interesting I want to ask you guys. But one of you, we'll
give it to you. Solo Sikoa seriously either, because you got to remember, ever since John Cena, he's just been losing. Like, what? Why are you even a part of the tribal chief of the Bloodline? One of the very few things you said was losing has consequences. Bro, if that's the case, you should have been going a long time ago. Because that win-loss record is shite. Complete shite. And you're running with Bloodline? Nobody taking something seriously. It don't matter. Win, lose, or draw. Ain't nobody going to take them any more serious. Ziggy, that's how you feel?
Dude, are you serious?
Ziggy, next one. Don't do that. He waited till like the last of the minute to say he meant to do that on purpose. AI, I swear. You're a bunch of shit.
You want to take the floor, Rich King, and we'll give you the floor last side?
Yeah, sure. I do think the bloodline does win this. There's just no way they should lose this. I love the Wolfpack, LWO, what else? The Radicals, what do you want to call them? Whatever you want to call these people. But they I think that Solo does come up with the winning, to stop the losing. It stops here. The buck stops here. But I do think that it's gonna be a great match. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that through this match, I do see the Randy Orton and what's that guy's name? Cody Rhodes feud happening after that. So it doesn't make sense for them to win. If they do, I mean, that superpower team they got with Kevin Owens. Speaking of losing, when does Kevin Owens ever win? Give me a break. When is this recent win?
My dog is such an analyst. Like, you're that. When does he want? Give me a break. Like, what are you talking about?
When does he win the pay-per-view? When was the last time? Let us all think about this. This is a Jeopardy question.
No.
WrestleMania 39 was his last pay-per-view.
No, because he won matches with Sami. They were like tag matches, but I know it was in 2023. I just can't think about it. Think of an answer here. I feel like if I put it in Google, they'll tell me. But Saya, what do you got here?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Really?
But
okay.
In terms of who's winning the match, it's the Bloodline.
That's what I meant. Sure. Okay.
They have. It makes sense for them to win. If Cody and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens win, it's stupid. We have to, because I know I take them the new Bloodline. So them getting this win is gonna, make people take them a little bit serious, and it's needed. It's a must needed win.
Yeah, I agree with you, young man. I do want to highlight because George said something here. He said, my comment about Solo Sikoa trying to challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, and we know that WWE is going to make it happen. I also wanted to highlight this I wanted to highlight Jeffrey because he said Bloodline Wolfpack is hilarious. But he also talking about George. I'm sorry, I'm mixing my G's here. He said I can see Roman Reigns coming back at SummerSlam with Paul Heyman, but that's just me. I can see him coming back at SummerSlam. I feel like SummerSlam would be a great spot. And I think that's the thing where I think about some of these storylines here. Because you're gonna want SummerSlam. Okay, so it's a part of the Big Four, right? Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
We know this whole Bloodline story ends at War Games. We already know it's gonna end at War Games.
Understood that, but I was gonna get at here is that you want to have some match. So when we were talking about the Money in the Bank, I could see Punk and Drew at SummerSlam. I think that's a match you put at SummerSlam. I don't think you put that on any other pay-per-view. And that's all depending if Punk is clear, but I feel like Punk is clear, but I don't know that for a fact. It just seemed like he is. And that's also, too, another thing when we were talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. I didn't get a chance to mention this, but I also see Damian and Finn handling their business at SummerSlam. That's why I don't think he wins. But that's all just guessing here. That's why we're doing predictions here. But I did want to end the show with this, and we'll end it here. I saw this interesting thing on Popular Review, and they were talking about top 5 factions or whatever. We'll say top 10. Let me ask you, gentlemen, this. Do you think the Shield is top 10 faction of all time?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're in agreement there.
Right.
I agree.
What are the 9 that's better than them, or 10 that's better than them? If we're not going to put them in top 10.
I mean, I think when you have these type of things, you're always going to have NWO, DX. People put 4 Horsemen, but I didn't grow up with them, so I can't really talk about them. And you said no, but there's people who do put them in there. I think you put Evolution. I feel like you had to put Bloodline in there. Easy.
Bloodline. Mm-hmm. Exercise says Evolution. Would you put the New Day in there, or what are we looking at too? So I don't know.
I would definitely put the New Day in there.
I think New Day should be. I mean, look at the longevity. I know people are tired of them now. They've been together for 10 years, and also too, look at the success that these guys had. Multi-time tag team champions. 2 of them are former heavyweight champions, WWE champions. I mean, this group has a lot of success, and also too, I think it's also to mention here the sales. I mean, I don't know about the shirt sales, but they sold a lot of bootios. Which feels very
shirts. They've been around for a while. I do think New Day is in that top 5 faction.
I think top 10. It's hard to say 5 because if you say 5, NWO DX, I would put Shield in there, but I kind of would put Bloodline over Shield.
Well, so there's 4 right there. Are you putting the 4 Horsemen over the New Day?
No, I don't even know these guys. Who are they?
I just know Ric Flair was one of them.
Good job. We've been wrestling fans for a long time. We just know Ric Flair's one.
Okay.
I think one of the members of the Woo Wings.
I know we're all joking here, but great. But
yeah.
I do think that I think there's an argument that New Day could be in top 5, but I do put Shield in my top 5 though.
Do you put Jeffrey put why not this one, the first one? He's talking about the first
the Wyatt family?
Yeah.
No. As much as I would love to, Dark Dynasty, no. Absolutely not.
Okay, would you put them in your top? I'm not picking them over the Shield, but would you put them in your top, not top 10? Maybe maybe we can do that. Maybe we can have a top 5 kind of thing. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can make that a thing because I think this is actually really fun here. George wanted us to know who was in the 4 Horsemen. Ric Flair and Arn Anderson is 2 of them. Thank you, George.
Do you know the other 2, George?
Arn Anderson, and
we know the other 2. We know the other 2. We're just fucking with him.
Now, one of them was Blanchard. One of them is Blanchard. I know this because, I just know these things for no reason. But that's really the show. That's the prediction show. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining me for this prediction show. I think all you guys did great. I want to thank the chat, Jeffrey and George. Thank you for being with us. And we won't have a live after show prediction. I won't be here, but I spoke with Jean Baptiste, and we're going to do an audio version of it. We're going to talk about the show. I know with you, Rich Kings, I was talking to you, and we're talking about doing a collab with UPR for the NXT Heatwave show. So I know you'll be on. Sire, I want to say you are fantastic. I want to have you back on here again. As rude as you was to me, but I want you back on. Good job, young man. Good job, gentlemen. So with that all said, I usually give you guys the floor and say where you guys want to be, if you guys want to be found. So we'll start with Jean Baptiste because he's become such a professional at this. Where can they find you, Jean Baptiste, on the internet if you would like to be found?
I'm about to go on Twitch and start murdering people in Street Fighter 6.
Oh, that's nice. You're gonna murder people. Good job.
Yes, just straight murder. Murder's probably not a good word. I'm gonna Braun Breaker them. All right, I'm gonna Gunther them in Street Fighter 6. It's over for them. I've had my moves. They popping off fireworks in the back. I'm going to go through all of them in about 10 minutes.
All right. Saya, is there anywhere that you would like to be found? Look at that. Gene Baptiste, you need to get it together.
Y'all can follow me.
I didn't do anything.
Hold on, let him take the floor. What are you doing? That's rude.
I kick you in the face again. But you can follow me on Instagram, Josiah TV, JESIAH TV.
All right, young man. And what about you? I know you always say nowhere, but I'm going to speak for you gentlemen here. You can catch him here for the Big Pop Theory podcast, and I'm going to bring him back on. We do predictions. We do after show. I want to do some more content where we review like some old like pay-per-views and stuff like that. It's just trying to figure out the time and everything like that. So I want to thank these gentlemen for being here. I also want to plug the Big Pop Theory podcast, Instagram, YouTube. Oh, well, if you're watching on YouTube, you already know. If you're on Twitter, you already know. Instagram and the TikTok and so many other things. We also have a Gmail, so if there's any kind of questions that you want to ask us, and there's something that you feel like should be on the show, we'll put it out there. And I think that is everything. Instagram, and I already said that stuff. So with that all said, Jean Baptiste, I'll see you Sunday for the recording. Rich King's Sunday as well for the NXT Heat Wave. It's going to be a Pop and UPR collab. The plan is to have Rich King, myself, the Wrestling Doll, and Monche Sawyer once NXT go off the air. That should be a great time. I look forward to bragging about JC Jane, and I've never seen someone wrestle with a face mask. She has the heart of a champion. Good job, JC.
Didn't Randy Orton wrestle with a face mask? Didn't Cody Rhodes wrestle with a face mask?
Who?
I mean, are we're not going to sit here and just lie.
I don't know who that is. It sounds like someone who started the company and left. I don't know who that person is.
And that person's your world champion.
Not my world champion. I turned my back, so I don't know who that is. So with that said, and we're going to bring you back on for some other stuff too, Si. So with that said, gentlemen, wave to the people who is, yes, Janeville. That's right. Janeville Poobah. That's right. Bye, folks. Thank you, and we'll see you again later. I almost clicked the wrong thing. That's hilarious. I don't even know my own thing. Bye, folks.